So hello. Today I'd like to take a look at this, which is something that my dad collected years ago. My family were quite active in the Second World War because obviously my uncles and aunties, in actual fact, were there. And one of the most prominent people that I knew was a chap called Eric Locke, who was my mum's uncle. My mum's cousin, sorry. He was a Spitfire fighter pilot who was a very, very young man. He won the Distinguished Service Order and the Distinguished Flying Cross with bar. Well, he was only 22 when he was shot down, or I think he crashed. I can't remember, to be honest with you. My mum did tell me, but my brain's going milky now. But he was a flight lieutenant he started off in 41 Squadron and ended up in 611. So from that, my dad, I don't know what that is in there. It's black in it. It's some sort of ticket's got in there. But my dad was passionate about Spitfire pilots after that moment, because obviously my dad was I think he was about 14. He used to live in Southall, and he watched, well, mostly the daylight raider bombers that were the American, bless them, the American bomber pilots that were coming back from their raids, and their planes were shot to shit, and there was blood sometimes all over it, depending on who'd taken the kill, who'd been blown. And he remembers waving at them as they came back, and they were flying so low. Often they were coming in with sort of two engines working and the other two smoking, and it's no bullshit. This is how it was during the Second World War. How my father experienced. He watched the Battle of Britain unfurl in front of his own very eyes in Southall, and he said his quote was that the sky was full of vapour trails. And of course, these were our boys fighting, hopefully, to try and prevent Nazi Germany from taking over our country and all the rest of it. They'd already done everywhere else, hadn't they? So some of these pilots are awesome. This chap here is Lord Dowding. He was from Stanmore. I'll show you on the back. Brian Kingcome was a group captain who was part and parcel of 92 Squadron, if my memory serves me correctly, of whom was Roger Bushell, Roger George Bushell, I think his name was. He was the Big X for the Great Escape from Stalag Luft 3 and all that, and he was in same squadron. Unfortunately for Roger, he was shot down over France very early on in the war, and he served most of his time as a POW, But Brian did not, and he went on to become hugely illustrious. There are some major names here. Some of them, sadly, are fading. I can't even see the signatures. I can't read them, but I'll show you on the back who they are. And this was, as I say, this was commemorating the 40th anniversary of the Battle of Britain in summer 1940. So obviously it would have been 1980 that my dad bought it. And here are, well, it's number 20 of 1,000 of them that were issued. And it was obviously a Battle of Britain museum appeal. And there they all are. There's Wing Commander Lord Dowding of Bentley Priory, 74 Squadron. And there's, where is he again? There he is, Group Captain Kingcome. With the DSO means Distinguished Service Order, and DFC means Distinguished Flying Cross. Obviously they didn't fuss about these lads. They were only kids, for crying out loud. They did very, 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 very well. I don't know if anybody, well, maybe they could. Who knows? Maybe they could do it. I don't know. I look at the kids today and think, Jesus, really? Anyway, my dad bought this and framed it. As I say, owing to the fact of Eric Locke, my mum's, did I say my mum's cousin, who was well, he was dead by 22, so he had a good life, didn't he? Not. I'm laughing through nervousness. Trust me. Sadly, some of these autographs have fast disappeared because the inks that they used were not obviously stuff that was made of what they were, men. And they're fading out. It's a real shame, because I quite frankly think this is probably quite a rare piece. I don't know how many of them there are. And I can tell you, well, there's 1,000 of them made, but how many are left, who knows? But I can tell you that when the Spitfire used to fly over, that Rolls-Royce 12 Merlin engine, as it went over, you just think, well, instantly you know it. And many times I heard it, because I used to live in Hampshire, and they used to have these fly-pasts occasionally on sort of Wingsday or whatever it was. And of course the Lancaster, my other uncle was in a Lancaster bomber as a wireless operator. He was a 00. Well, he used to shoot the guns as well. You know, he was doing the wireless operation, but when he wasn't doing that, he was trying to stop people from killing him, sort of thing, with a Browning machine gun, you know, that was attached to the plane. And he flew ridiculous amounts of missions. I can't remember now, because my brain is slowly milk. But he went well over his operative quota, put it that way, flying mostly over Bremen, bombing Bremen in Germany. I just think everyone's going to go, bomber this, bomber that. But that's what those boys were told to do, crikey. They didn't have a choice, did they? And no way. But I think probably the most famous autograph on here is Brian Kingcome, because he had a book. He wrote a book. It was a really good book, in actual fact. Hang on, we can hack into it, because I know my silly videos go on and on and on and on and on, but there is a good book. I'll hurry. I'll hubber it upstairs and hopefully try and find the Brian Kingcome book very quickly. A Willingness to Die, it's called. There you go. I can't get it out, but it's called A Willingness to Die, and it's by Brian Kingcome, group captain. Wonderful man, fantastic. Anyway, thanks ever so much for watching. If you've got this far, you know you're as nuts as I am, but all the very best wishes, and I'm hoping I won't fall down the freaking stairs. These silly check slippers on, that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? Cheers.